Holy shit. He said what?
Harry and Meghan are leaving the palace to become financially independent. And you see, this is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. Yeah, she looked at Harry and she's like, nigga, you need to get a job. You a grown-ass man, you can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorite.
No more following Granny's rules. Don't wear your pants on your head, Harry. Don't bath on the butler, Harry. If I want to play polo in my living room, who's gonna stop me?
Stop that.
Right away, Megs.
The night Trevor Noah turned his sights on Meghan Markle, it felt less like a late-night segment and more like a public trial. You could hear it in the audience's laughter. Not the warm, polite chuckles you give to a safe joke, but the sharp, almost guilty laughs that escape when you know the truth is being dragged into the light.
Damn, Harry and Meghan are losing their titles? That's the most embarrassing royal loss since William's hairline.
Noah didn't walk out and tell a couple of gags about the royal family's Netflix special. He launched a cross-examination armed with timing as sharp as a scalpel and a global perspective no British or American comic could match.
Queen has announced that Harry and Meghan can no longer describe themselves as royal. And I won't lie, if I was Harry and Meghan, I'll be like, fine, then we'll be known as Royale.
For years, Meghan had been able to frame her critics as bitter, jealous, or flat-out bigoted. But here was an award-winning comedian, an immigrant himself, cutting straight through that shield. He didn't just poke fun, he dismantled her public image brick by brick, exposing every contradiction and hypocrisy she tried to cover in glossy interviews and filtered Instagram posts. And as the camera caught Noah's sly smile between punchlines, you could feel the air shift. This wasn't about making people laugh. This was about making them see. And once they did, they couldn't unsee it.
Although I do have to admit this, right? I always find it weird when people introduce a new baby. Because if you think about it, there's such a big contrast between the end product and how it was made. The result of our sweaty night of just raw dogging, #blessed.
Noah opened his takedown with a move Meghan's PR team probably never saw coming. He attacked her on the one battlefield she thought she'd already conquered, race. Most comedians tread lightly here, but Noah, with his South African background and lived experience navigating racial identity across continents, went in swinging. He pointed out the coded language swirling around Meghan's coverage, then flipped it on his head, mocking the way she weaponized those same narratives when it suited her.
Now the big question is, if Harry and Meghan come to America, where are they gonna live? Everyone wants to know. I think they'll move to LA because Meghan is an actor, and then she's gonna wanna work again, and then Harry can just join the cast of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yeah, just be like fighting on TV. I know what you said about me, Diddy. Say it to my face.
He hit her marriage like a case study, dismantling the modern fairy tale by painting Harry as a jobless prince desperate for relevance, and Meghan as the ultimate Hollywood networker who happened to network her way into a palace. The killer moment, Noah imagining Harry hustling for cartoon voiceover gigs at industry events, all while Meghan worked the room.
What's funny is that no matter what job Prince Harry gets, you realize he's still gonna be Prince Harry, right? Can you imagine being his boss when he screws up? Like, what do you call him in and say, Prince Harry, get in here, your majesty. You blew the Henderson account, my lord. Clean out your desk and may God save the Queen.
The image wasn't just funny, it was humiliating. It reframed the couple not as victims of a cruel establishment, but as two overconfident celebrities scrambling to stay in the spotlight. In under 3 minutes, Noah had turned Meghan's carefully curated global humanitarian brand into a punchline so sharp, even the studio band was laughing between riffs.
James Corden is a 12-time Emmy winner and the host of The Late Late Show. He's also living proof that a man can move from London to LA and not tell everyone about his frostbitten penis.
And this was only the first swing. The knockout blows were still coming. Once Trevor Noah lit the fuse, every American comedian seemed to smell blood in the water. Late night hosts, podcast giants, sketch shows, all of them lined up to take their shot, and they didn't waste time with polite royal jabs. Conan O'Brien went surreal, using the news of Harry and Meghan's wax figures being yanked from Madame Tussauds to spin an absurdist bit about where they'd end up next. And the punchline placed them somewhere far less dignified than any royal palace.
And this is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it.
Saturday Night Live turned Meghan and Harry into a recurring joke, with Mikey Day's goofy Prince Harry bumbling through talk shows while other characters mocked Suits like it was an unwatchable relic Meghan had forced the world to endure.
You know, I mean, she used to be on
Was
Deal or
he
No
infiltrated?
Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you just get free money?
Joe Rogan didn't even bother with a scripted routine. He turned his real-life beef with Harry into a comedy segment, telling how his first reaction to hearing Harry criticize him wasn't anger, but wondering if the prince might actually have a point, before roasting him anyway. By the time the week was over, Meghan's name had gone from a headline to a punchline in America's biggest comedy outlets. And here's the real damage. These weren't one-off jokes. They became recurring bits, embedded into sketches, monologues, and viral clips. Meghan hadn't just been roasted, she'd been inducted into the permanent roster of celebrity clowns the US loves to mock on a loop.
Hi, oh my God, it's been so long, Miss Meghan Markle.
If American comedians roasted Meghan with playful jabs and celebrity satire, the British comics came armed with bayonets. These weren't just jokes, they were homegrown takedowns from people who grew up under the shadow of the monarchy and weren't afraid to swing hard. Andrew Schultz didn't waste breath pretending to care. He dismissed Harry and Meghan entirely in a line so cold, it made the crowd gasp before they laughed.
I mean this sincerely, Prince Harry and Meghan, we don't give a America don't give a about you. We don't.
Nikki Glaser went in from a different angle, crafting a painfully vivid alternate reality where Meghan was still grinding in mid-tier Hollywood, hustling for background roles instead of royal titles.
We know what that means.
That's LA. She wants to be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world, and now she's over there and she's like, if she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She just got lucky.
Then came Simon Brodkin, whose specialty is mocking public figures to their faces. He tore into their Netflix doc with a cynical one-sentence summary that reduced the whole series to a vanity project.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. I fucking hate them.
But the most savage blows came from satire that didn't need a live stage. The animated series, the prince portrayed Meghan as fame-obsessed and Harry as a man drifting without purpose. Their royal exit reframed as a calculated career move.
What the is going on with Harry?
How dare you?
I'll say whatever I want. You're in my house now.
You want a piece of me?
I will you up, girly.
The focus is starting to shift off of me.
In the UK, this wasn't treated as a tragic love story gone wrong. It was a high-profile PR stunt that fell flat. And unlike the American comics who moved on to other targets, the British acts kept coming back, recycling every new Sussex interview, every Netflix clip, every podcast soundbite into another weapon. The message was clear. In the UK, Meghan wasn't just a celebrity. She was a national sport.
Careful, Harry. I spilled some essential oils on the floor.
When Britain's legendary puppet satire, Spitting Image, turned its attention to Meghan and Harry, it wasn't just another roast. It was character assassination with felt and foam. The Meghan puppet was drawn with exaggerated glamour and an ever-present smirk, constantly scheming for her next publicity hit, while Harry's puppet was a clueless man-child so pampered.
Hey, it's the husband formerly known as Prince. Any luck getting a job?
Oh, they had me driving for Uber Eats, but there were too many damn rules. Don't touch the food, don't taste the food, drive on the road.
I'm sorry, Rowdy Weddy.
He needed his butler to hand him a TV remote. In one skit, the pair plotted new career ventures that sounded more like late-night infomercial scams than royal projects, mocking the Netflix deal as if it was nothing more than a quick cash grab. Even Meghan's wellness image wasn't safe.
Meghan, this new Netflix show I'm producing for you is gonna be huge. Tell Eldon all about it.
It's about a beautiful young swan, but no one treats her like the beautiful swan she is until season 2 when everyone apologizes to her.
One segment featured her promoting rank smoothies, so unappetizing the other puppets gagged on camera. The genius of Spitting Image was that it could say the things human comedians wouldn't dare, hiding savage social commentary behind absurd visuals. It didn't just lampoon their wealth, it hammered the disconnect between their public speeches about struggle and their real-life mansions, private jets, and celebrity circles. For viewers, the puppets captured a truth no press release could erase, that Meghan and Harry's post-royal image was so ripe for parody, it practically wrote itself. And unlike a late-night monologue that disappears after a day, these puppet clips lived online, racking up millions of views, embedding the couple's caricature into pop culture like a stain that wouldn't wash out.
So Pads, tell me, everyone knows you're the bear who likes to share. What's the secret to your eternal personal glow?
Well, Harry, I'm glad you asked me that. As you know, I'm a huge fan of South American product.
Is it Colombian?
No, 100% Peruvian, biodynamic, organic, catastrophic,
Yes, I've tried it, and the results were incredible.
If the British comedy scene had been ruthless up to this point, Jimmy Carr's joke was the point where the tone shifted from playful savagery to full-on controversy. Known for pushing boundaries, Carr walked onto that stage with the kind of confidence that says he knows exactly how far he's about to go. And he's going anyway. The setup was quick, the kind of sharp, efficient delivery that left no room for Meghan or Harry to hide in nuance. But the punchline? It landed with the force of a scandal. Carr tapped into a fear buried deep in the British public psyche, pulling in a reference to the royal line of succession that instantly made the audience roar and then freeze as they realized just how close it was to the bone.
I said Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job. The card he's playing is,
Yes.
I'm a victim,
Oh,
and you go,
right.
no, you're not a f***ing victim.
Online, the clip spread like wildfire, splitting opinion down the middle. Supporters argued it was just dark comedy doing its job. Critics claimed it was reckless, even dangerous, to plant that image in people's minds. The backlash was immediate, with think pieces, radio debates, and TV pundits weighing in. And here's the real irony. The outrage only made the joke more famous. It wasn't just a throwaway gag anymore, it became the definitive too far moment in the Meghan and Harry roast timeline.
I said H was H was accepted. H has been just H is, and H called me with H, and H was out, and with H.
The line in the sand that proved the comedy world wasn't just mocking them for laughs, but because they had become a cultural flashpoint everyone wanted to claim a piece of. By the time the professional comedians had finished, the internet didn't just join the pile on, it completely hijacked it. TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter became 24/7 roast arenas, where clips of Meghan and Harry were chopped, remixed, and repurposed into brutal, bite-sized parodies.
Opportunity is everything.
The spark was a single awkward moment from Meghan's Netflix series, where she corrected actress Mindy Kaling on her name. A blink and you miss it exchange that creators slowed down, replayed, and captioned into oblivion. Suddenly, that one clip became a meme template for overcorrecting moments, with Meghan's face pasted onto every scenario imaginable.
My name is Megan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy f***ing Kaling.
Then came the parody cooking videos mocking her curated lifestyle segments. Spotless kitchens, designer aprons, and tips so impractical they felt like a satire of themselves. One viral skit showed a Meghan lookalike giving advice on budget living while sipping champagne in a palace-sized living room.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorite.
Trick that people do with pineapple, instead of just cutting it to make the perfect little bite, you follow the wedge. When nature has given you all the cues on how to have a perfect taste of something.
Oh, how fun is that? I love it.
I like working hard.
This woman is being paid millions of dollars to show how to cut into a pineapple.
Even fan-made music videos emerged, remixing her interviews into auto-tuned dance tracks with titles like Royal Reality Check. The key difference here? These weren't professionals with PR to worry about. They were anonymous, global, and relentless. Every new Sussex appearance was raw material. The couple's narrative was no longer theirs to control, and the internet's collective sense of humor was far more vicious than any stand-up stage. By now, the roast wasn't a moment in pop culture. It was a permanent online genre, and Meghan was its unwilling poster child. Beneath the laughs, memes, and late-night punchlines, a more dangerous truth was taking shape, one that no PR spin could undo.
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
How do you feel about it?
What?
It was amazing.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
Meghan and Harry weren't just the subjects of jokes. They had become symbols of a brand contradiction so glaring, it begged to be mocked. On one hand, they positioned themselves as victims of relentless media intrusion. On the other, they built an entire post-royal career, selling access to their personal lives, from tell-all interviews to behind-the-scenes Netflix specials. The hypocrisy was too easy for comedians, and once pointed out, too obvious for the public to ignore. Every heartfelt statement about living a private life was undercut by a new photo shoot, podcast, or book deal. Worse still, their wealth and celebrity status made even their genuine struggles seem out of touch, creating an unbridgeable gap between their image and the everyday lives of the people they were trying to reach.
Everyone is wondering what they'll do to support themselves without any of that royal cash. Well, good news, Meghan's already got herself a job.
Here comes the first time in her life that Meghan Markle actually touches food. Let's watch that back. Why is she pushing apples into the salad?
You're definitely a unique person.
This is why the roast never stops, because it's not about one scandal or one misstep. It's about a fundamental mismatch between the story they want to tell and the reality people see. Once an audience senses that kind of disconnect, every move becomes fuel for satire. And in the age of social media, that's a trap you can't climb out of, because the internet doesn't let a contradiction die. It loops it, captions it, and laughs at it forever.
Do you see any of the real Diana in Meghan? Did you?
No.
Really?
No. Sorry. Wow.
Trevor Noah may have fired the first shot, but what followed was an all-out cultural ambush. American comics, British satirists, puppet shows, and millions of online creators dismantling Meghan and Harry's public image from every possible angle. And here's the part they can't control. Once you've become a running joke, every new interview, every staged photo, every authentic moment risks becoming the next viral roast. The problem isn't just the comedy, it's that the punchlines keep exposing a truth the Sussexes can't rewrite. They built a narrative on contradictions, and comedy has a way of finding every crack. Which brings us to the question they'll be facing for years. Can you ever reclaim your story once the world decides it's funnier without you? If you want to see just how far this satire can go, including the exact moment Meghan reportedly lost her cool over spitting Image's brutal portrayal, check out my previous video right here on All Star Spotlight. Trust me, if you thought this was savage, you haven't seen anything yet.